tilted. There we go. Thank you, Jesus, for turning this world right side up for us. Lesson 42. Yeah, Jesus is reminding me about trust. And there's a little post that Kelly made from a quote from the Light Circle, where Jesus said during a Light Circle session that trust is a little pointer to infinite. It's so beautiful. It's always pointing up to infinite. And Jesus told me when I was talking to him about trust, that trust can't go out anywhere. You know how he says trust would settle every problem, because it doesn't happen between bodies. It's pointing to infinite nature of trusting ourselves. So there's no other to trust. There's no God out there to trust. We say, in God we trust. It's helpful because it's pointing actually back into identity. The reason Jesus talks about trust is it's always pointing to our true identity. And someone said, well, I don't understand how this goes with the Course. Well, the whole Course is a course in trust. Is a course in learning to trust the divine nature of being, of identity, of who we are, because the ego is completely untrustworthy. Yet all of our trust is placed in what can't be. In the play of consciousness, it's to play as though the ego, we can trust in pain. You know, we can trust in suffering. We can trust in emotion. See how we can trust in thoughts. We can trust that that beehive that our head's in with all the thoughts is real. Jesus says, trust in me. This is to trust the only thing that's trustful. Infinite. And it's reminding me again of those words he said to me. We were in a session and he was saying, the only thing you can be sure of, the only thing you can be sure of in this world is that I'm here to lead you out of it. That's the only thing to trust for us. To trust in him, and that those promises that he's given through A Course in Miracles, to trust the love, the infinite love that's behind every word in that book. And that you will, by direct experience, know that every word is true in there, by direct experience, not because someone tells you. And it's helpful, you know, we need the symbols, because at first we're so afraid to talk to Jesus. That was a good reminder yesterday when I was speaking to the Miami UCDM group. And the reminder for Jesus, like, I didn't even know that was him speaking to me. He said, you would have been totally weirded out when he first started talking to me, because in the play of consciousness, it was such a high analytical, you know, a scientist. And then I can just solve all the world's problems by being a scientist and figure out all the problems in the world, figure it out. See that play? And so the way he helped move beyond that is a friend introduced me to, well, through learning to look at beliefs, neuro-linguistic programming, but energy work. Somehow, for a scientific mind, that was so disruptive, to everything being form. And I see how he uses these things to move us beyond form. And I was seeing all these seeming physical changes just from touch, from energy. It's still energy. It's still in the realm of magic. But for here, it was disrupting those beliefs that you can analyze your way out, that there is some set of thoughts within consciousness would solve the problems. If I could just find those. And I remember the first time he's telling me about it this morning. It must be helpful because he brought it to my attention. Like I was working with someone else seemingly, and I was learning to listen. Actually, he was teaching me to listen through this, and they had a lot of tension in their body, and I had put my hands on their legs, and I heard stomping. There's a lot of stomping. There's a lot of stomping. Like, where did that come from? And he's telling me now. That's why I was starting to talk to me. I was starting to listen, and he was starting to tell me things to show that the power, start a conversation gently. And I told her I said, I'm hearing you're stomping. What is this stomping? And she said, when I was little, I would get really mad. I would just really stomp. And it's how he was teaching me to listen and that he could tell me things, but I didn't know that was him. As I said yesterday, most just in the play of consciousness because of the concept of what Jesus is. He knew it wasn't, he's telling me that. It wasn't the right time for me to know that he was starting to tell me things. It's just the mind was opening up more and more to something looking beyond form. And he does that with all of us. Like he knows the way. He's reminding me he knows the way. And when we don't know anything, I needed that in the play of consciousness, that kind of shake up to what seems to be like this firm knowing of something. And he's showing me knowing nothing other than what I tell you. In my interpretation, that's love. His interpretation is love's interpretation. The only true honesty comes from him. The only true honesty comes from Jesus, really. Through super consciousness, the light speaking through super consciousness, because the light itself doesn't have a voice. It's beautiful to have him reinterpret everything or show the ways in which he's always been there calling us, because we called him and we called each other out of the world. And how important willingness is. And he's reminding me, you don't need the course to know this, because I could see even before the course, he was already coaching me in charity, how to see more in my brother through that going into the prison. Then I saw, and they see in themselves seemingly in form until you can see you're giving charity to yourself because there's no other. So by seeing more in your brother than you see in yourself, you're extending. Do you see how that's extension? That's faith. That's trust in action. And the light, he was light training even then. He's always offering us light training. Start with the light first, because that's what we are. And then see where we're denying light, infinite. But without trust and faith, having no concept of what those were, really, through desire not to. Jesus, is there any desire in there not to know what faith is and what trust is? He said those are natural to you, actually. They're just necessary to turn back inward toward the true. Yeah, he was showing me, I just happened to print up David's levels of mind diagram because, as I've said, the diagram he's showing me now has light. He's showing how light's everything. And then there's that ring of desire around. But even if you take David's diagram and you see it, you've got, on the surface, you have perception, and then you have thoughts and belief, emotion, and then you have thoughts and beliefs. Then you go all the way down to desire. If you put another little ring right in the middle, a little circle, and you write light right there, because what happens is he's going to take you down to see, and you can hear the reflections and the beings and these chapter 20 sessions. He's taking them down right to desire and showing them what's under that light. This light there. It doesn't matter if it's David's diagram or the way he's presenting it for me. That total light in the ring of desire on the outside. Desire is core. And the desire is what needs to be released to the miracle through willingness to see it another way. The energetic, it's like a little energetic force field trying to hold back. It's like, as I've talked before, it's like shields up on the Star Trek Enterprise when it seems like an enemy. Well, it's made the light the enemy, and then the shields go up, and it's like a little force field shield. No, I don't want to see that I'm light. Every time the light, Jesus, tries to come talk. That's why this trust is so important. And also, he's showing me how he's using beliefs. So they're beliefs that take us to a deeper dive into delusion. I'm angry. I desire experience of anger, and it's going to drive right down into the hidden place in the mind. If we admit I'm angry, I desire an experience of anger, that admission starts to lift us back out of the delusion. So he's really showing how these course lessons with willingness, he's using these higher order thoughts, they point out to infinite, to the light. Whereas these lower order thoughts, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, God doesn't love me, they're all pointing deep into the delusion. So he uses these words like lesson 42, God is my strength. Look out to where the true strength is, toward the light. Vision is his gift. Vision is identity. The only thing he has given us, the only thing, yet it's everything, is identity, light. It's the only thing you can count on, other than Jesus helping us to move outside of this circle of fear, miscreation. The only thing you can be sure, you can ask, is the only thing I can be sure of, light, and hear him. And that with willingness, I'm going to show you the way, the means. And then he delivers the curriculum. And all this book is seemingly is a reminder to us. One, he's here for us. What could be a better news than that? Two, we can all hear him. What could be better? And speak his voice, because it's our voice. He's given us a means to actually have a conversation with him and to demonstrate that everything in the course is true, and that who's in control. He's reminding us who's actually in control of the atonement and miracles. He's just reconfirming that to ask. It's so helpful. God is my strength, vision is his gift. So then he gives us these little 365 days of little breadcrumbs that point up to infinite. The idea for today combines two very powerful thoughts, both of major importance. Yeah, I'm starting to see when he says, just, boy, listen to him. God is my strength. See, it denies the delusion is real. Vision is his gift. These belong to us. Ask Jesus, Jesus, vision belong to me? It's your natural state. God is my strength, being one with him. The only thing, this is what's natural. So he's got to reteach us what's natural to us. So we can unlearn all that, the dive into the delusion. It also sets forth a cause and effect relationship that explains why you cannot fail in your efforts to achieve the goal of the course. Boy, he's for me, he's just, you cannot fail. We need to hear that, really. Because you'll see it in chapter 20, it's so helpful again to have this concentration of all the desires, because then it's really, no weaseling around that. Because one of the desired experiences is for it to seem in consciousness like we can fail. So we can experience discouragement. So let's just ask him, make sure that one's cleared out. Jesus, is there any desire for an experience where I feel like I'm going to be a failure at seeing who I am, at seeing that I'm infinite light? And he's saying no, about this word awakening. Don't even think about that. Let's see the lights here now. You can already be awake because you're already that. He says, just cease to deny that you're that. It was really good this morning. You don't always see it as good as first. But so the alarm goes off. And let me tell you, that baby is loud when it goes off. What's really good about that is you can see if there's any twitch. The slightest twitch. Oh, I forgot to disarm the alarm. Oh, you go to disarm it. If you put the number in wrong, you won't be able to disarm it. It'll keep going. It's like all the thoughts about, oh my gosh, whatever would arise, waking up the neighborhood. No, do we have one concern about that? No. Jesus, do I have a desire for this experience? Am I relishing tightening up when I hear this alarm go off? Just sit there on the relishing of it, really. Because at first you want to reject it. It's like, oh, why this alarm and it won't stop, and all that kind of stuff. You can just go direct. He says, yes, just go, oh, I'm relishing this because I feel tension. So unsparing. I'm desiring this conditioned response. Alarm goes off because I like it. Do I really relish that, Jesus? You can ask him. Yes. And you look. Anything in form happening that we feel an affiliation with is a relished experience. Then the whole training with Jesus just shifts. Because when you think about it, like alarm like that goes out, what's the first thing the ego goes, oh, I got to stop that alarm. But it's the one who's creating the alarm. Is somebody breaking in? You can just see how many great things come right to the surface with that. There's somebody breaking in. What happened? Did I do something wrong? Who did it? Who walked through the gate and set it off? It's a happiness place. If you really look at it deeply, to see the whole play of consciousness appear, come into full fruition with that. You know, when Jesus said, okay, you're going to have an alarm, you're going to set the alarm. You can't know what it's for. You just set it because he says, if he says don't set it, you don't set it. Not to keep the burglars out, because that would be attack right there. And then we can look at any ideas as somebody's coming crawling over the walls here. But and that's why he says, God is my strength. Perfect opportunity for the lesson. God is my strength. Now, the question is, will we remember to practice it while the wah's happening? Or do we do shields up? And it hasn't gone off a lot, but we've had a couple opportunities. Look at any kind of tension over that alarm going off. Banana tree, leave, move. Whoop, okay. Jesus, is this for the whole that this alarm goes off? Hear what he says. We'll all hear it. So you don't even have to be here to hear that was in purpose for everyone. Ask Jesus. Because it puts on a whole new perspective on innocence. And you can ask him, Jesus, does consciousness have the power to set off an alarm like that, just in the play of consciousness, just because it likes to get tense over? That's why we've said consciousness has the power when you're going to go look at something to do all kinds of things. As soon as you start looking, you'll feel like all kinds of feelings will rise. That's why we have to say, no, I'm looking anyway. Let the smoke rise. You feel the steam rising up. So what? Jesus, just because there are a lot of bees buzzing, do I really have to be thoughts? Do I have to be involved in that traffic? Is infinite light involved in that traffic? I love that with Muji. He just says, stay with the light and see how long those things last, because you're not giving power to them. We have to see that we're actually powering it through our thoughts and beliefs and desire for experience. And then he's pointing right here, and here it is. Bees buzzing, a billion of them stinging. The alarm goes off. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. And you can ask him, Jesus, is it that simple? Will you help me remember that next time the alarm goes off? It's so funny. Watch how the mind plays with that too. It's really good. It's like, okay, here's its favorite question. Who did it? The alarm goes off. Who did it? And then the other question is, why won't this thing disarm? See, who and why, other than, are questions that send you spiraling right into the delusion. Whereas, what am I? Great opportunity to practice, what am I? Is this real? And then Jesus, how do I respond? Now, he might tell you to go look out the window, but isn't it great? An alarm goes off and you just go, okay, let's just kind of sit there a minute. I love that. I love that. Best story ever, Kirsten telling that story where the fire's pouring down a canyon up to the monastery. And she's going, what did Jesus, what do I do? Clean your room? And she follows. She followed him. That's the question. Will we follow? Will we ask him? Or will we just jump into the fire and get all involved in the whole play? Because we relish that play. It's hilarious. But that's really the test. Are we willing to follow in every circumstance? Like, I love the Margie Palm. You can search that one out if you haven't seen it. I've talked about it. Where she got, quote unquote, abducted in the ways of the world. It's called that. At gunpoint. And the reflection in her mind was a very angry being. But what a symbol of, it's one of the, I don't know, very many of them, where it's unfailing example of following Holy Spirit fully. It's on record that I know of. If someone finds one, please send it. Those are the best things to see. The unfailing willingness to follow Jesus in every circumstance. And as you know, my other favorite is that movie Hacksaw Ridge. Unfailing following under the seemingly in the world most hellacious circumstances. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. Thank you, Jesus. It also sets forth a cause and effect relationship that explains why you cannot fail in your efforts to achieve the goals of this course. We cannot fail. You will see, because it is the will of God. So let's just ask, Jesus, is it the will of God that I succeed in this course? Do I have all the power invested in me by the Father to accept everything in the course now as true? Is it true? Test it out in the light. He said it's the only truth for us, because it's given for us. It is his strength, not your own, that gives you power. And it is his gift rather than your own that offers vision to you. God is indeed your strength, and what he gives is truly given. This means that you can receive it at any time and anywhere, wherever you are, and in whatever circumstance you find yourself. Now, isn't that interesting? He's talking about every instance and then every circumstance, and now he's talking about every circumstance. It's for me, is reminding every circumstance. Because the first time we make an exception, we literally shot ourselves in the foot. Every exception is a dive into the dream. Your passage through time and space is not at random. Let's just ask him so we can really feel that, because sometimes it does feel kind of random. He says, by your desire for that experience. Through your desire. Your passage through time and space is not as random. Let's just experience Jesus. Will you show us and reveal so we can just really see in the light of truth? It's not random. Is it not random? Do I have a desire for it to seem like it's at random? He says yes. And I asked him, that's a good one to give over to you, isn't it? And he says yes. And we ask for a miracle on the perception that moving through time and space is random. You cannot be but in the right place at the right time. He says, trust this. Such is the strength of God. Such are his gifts. Because You're infinite light and not subject to time nor space. You can ask them. Unbound by time. The timeless one. We'll have 2, 3 to 5 minute practice periods today. Jesus, I asked him, I said, can we check in with the light? He says, you can always check in. So let's just check in and do the light check. Is the light of divine being here? Is it our identity given by the Father? Did our Father give us anything other than infinite light? Being synonymous with love. Is infinite light synonymous with love? Yes, it's all that is love. It's like love, period. Love doesn't have, I will feel love when. I will feel love if. I will feel love because. That's the conditional love. See how it's a condition? That's a belief that love happens because, or if, or then. And it splits out cause and effect. See, it's makes things two. When puts a timeline on love. Then we're always like paddling like the ducks, trying to get somewhere to get love. God is indeed your strength, and what he gives is truly given. This means that you can receive in any time and anywhere, wherever you are. Oh, this is good, this light check. Jesus, can I receive from the Father anytime, anywhere, wherever I am, and whatever circumstances? And you find him saying in there, maybe on this one you won't, anytime, anywhere, wherever you are in whatever circumstances. This is definitely the whatever circumstances talking. He's reminding me. He says, no exceptions. See, unless we choose otherwise, to choose into the delusion, to dive in there. He's saying, no, go look out, look toward the light. I'm asking Jesus, these thoughts of God more powerful than desires? Yes. You cannot be in the right place you cannot but be in the right place at the right time. Such is the strength of God. Jesus, do I carry all the strength of God with me? He never says no. Such are his gifts. We will have 2 3 to 5 minute practice periods today, one as soon as possible after you wake, and another as close as possible the time you go to sleep. It is better, however, to wait until you can sit quietly by yourself at a time when you feel ready than it is to concerned with the time as such. It's really reminding us of us here, about readiness. Jesus, am I always ready to accept the light into my heart? He says, because it's you. But he understands the plain consciousness to pretend we're not ready. That's all of consciousness, to pretend we're not ready to be light. Okay. Oh my gosh. It's very humbling to see how he's always right. It's a happy humbling. Begin these practice periods by repeating the idea for today slowly with your eyes open and looking about you. Then close your eyes and repeat the idea again, even slower than before. After this, try to think of nothing except thoughts that occur to you in relation to the idea for the day. And these are thoughts of holiness related to today. See the thoughts of holiness? See how those holiness thoughts point us up? You might think, for example, vision must be possible. God gives truly. This is like a little song to the infinite here he's having us sing. The pointing up song. Maybe we'll have that's from Lord. Here's the pointing up song. Okay. God's gifts to me must be mine because he gave them to me. Any thought that is clearly related to the idea for today is suitable. Oh, this is so beautiful because he's teaching us how to focus in consciousness on the thoughts that go this way. The right-minded thoughts go this way rather than the hell thoughts. Just the power of thought going, I am angry. That's going to make that your experience. You may, in fact, be astonished at the amount of course-related understanding some of your thoughts contain. That's love. That's a happy astonishment. Let them come without censoring unless you find your mind is merely wandering and you have let obviously irrelevant thoughts intrude. Just ask him. So other thoughts, anything other than these course lessons are irrelevant? He says, yes. Can only be that. You may also reach a point where no thoughts at all seem to come to mind. If such, see, this is the pretending like we're blank when we really have tons of thoughts there. If such interference, he's calling that an interference. See, that's interference. Open your eyes and repeat the thought once more while looking slowly about. Close your eyes, repeat the idea once more, and then continue to look for related thoughts in your mind. He's really teaching us that mind training to notice thoughts and the thoughts that are affiliated with up rather than the focus in consciousness. He's training to focus on the thoughts that go up rather than the bee stinging bee thoughts. Remember, however, that active searching for irrelevant thoughts is not appropriate. He's teaching us to let thoughts of love come, that they're natural. Try merely to step back and let the thoughts come. If you find this difficult, it's better to spend the practice period alternating between slow repetitions of the idea with eyes open, then the eyes closed, than it is to strain to find suitable thoughts. Oh, he's really teaching what's natural to us. These loving thoughts don't involve strain. How can what natural to us involve strain? That's beautiful. Loving thoughts are natural to us. He's just letting nature, the natural state, fill our hearts. There is no limit on the number of short practice periods that would be beneficial today. The idea for today is a beginning step in bringing thoughts together and teaching that you are studying a unified thought system in which nothing is lacking that is needed. See, he's already seeing the thoughts being given by the Father to us naturally. See, they're rising up, the love thoughts rising up, and he's teaching us to like notice those and let those be the ones that come. That's beautiful, actually. In which nothing is lacking, that Nothing is lacking that is needed, and nothing is included that is contradictory or irrelevant. The more often you repeat the idea during the day, the more often you will be reminding yourself that the goal of the course is important to you and that you have not forgotten it. Okay, I'll just read this again, and it feels really good to with all the love that we are. He says, this eases the looking when you come together so deeply in such deep devotion with each other in support of each other in this holy purpose. Begin these practice periods by repeating the idea for today slowly with your eyes open, looking up about you. Then close your eyes and repeat the idea again, even slower than before. After this, try to think of nothing except thoughts that occur to you in relation to the ideas. You might think, for example, vision must be possible. God gives truly. Or God's gift to me must be mine because he gave them to me. Thank you, Jesus. We'll just be with you. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. Thank you, Jesus, for showing us that these thoughts are our true thoughts. Thoughts of love and wholeness and completion and happiness and joy. And showing us that God is my strength and vision is his gift. And that's love. That strength is love, infinite love without exception, without beginning or end. The love that's always pointing to supreme happiness is our only function. Amen. Thank you again for coming, beloveds. It's so helpful. You see how the greatest gifts are given through your brother. And to have these mighties so devoted every day to this looking is precious. So I'd like to invite Lori to come and sing another one of her beautiful songs of joy. I can't understand. She's going to be right back.
This is Feel the Real. Feel free to sing. Riders of the storm,
Thank you for joining us. We love you. All love from San Juan Cosala. Cosala. Okay.